Hi, everybody. Welcome to Growing Pains, a Generation Conversation. This is episode 7.
Yes, that's right.
Wow.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I
I
know.
can move with 7 already.
Yeah. That's a lot. I mean, when you get to 10, you guys need to do something special.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, something to think about. Let me come up with something.
Okay.
All right, so this topic, the name of this topic is to settle or not to settle. That is the question.
To be or not to be? To be settling or not to be settling?
The stare cut them off.
Yeah. I want to explain, because you know how we talk, explain why we decided to pick this topic. And Brittany, my daughter, showed me a video a couple days ago about there's a quite demand on women. If you're 35, you're not married, there's an issue. If you're aggressive in the business world, there's an issue. But you have to be aggressive in the business, but yet feminine in the relationship. Mm-hmm. So you just can't win. Mm-hmm. So the topic came about where I know certain age group, if you want children, you may have to settle for a certain type of guy because you want a child, you want a family, so you may have to settle. Or not. You know, so that's how I came to the topic. Should you settle? Is there ever a time to settle or not to settle? So
Yeah.
that's
So it was that, that real audio where it was like, act like a man in business, but don't be too manly.
Yeah.
Or so that you're liked. You don't want to be too aggressive. You still want to be liked, but you want to be aggressive in business. You want to be,
Exactly.
it's so many different
You
things.
want to be submissive, but you don't want to be a pusher.
right.
Exactly.
So everything contradicts itself, and like there's a lot of pressures. Like, do you want everything, or are you going to settle for a couple things?
Right.
Yeah.
But
And
also,
that really is the question.
exactly. Also, if you do settle, they say, well, you're betraying who you are, right? And if you don't settle, they're saying you're being picky. What's wrong with you? Nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
So you can't have it all.
You can't have it all.
Yeah.
So what do you do? What do you do? So I was thinking about it. Brittany, I was talking about it, and I was talking to this a friend of mine, and I was telling him what I was going to talk about today. And then he said the best way to not even think about settle, because settle is like an illusion. Society put this thing on you. The word settle is to make to make a judgment call. Should I do this? Should I do that? So we talked about when you settle, or if you know what you want, and if you're with someone that's inspiring you, that's feeding your soul, okay, that's want the best for you, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So if you're moving in that space, then there's no need to settle. Because if you're in a relationship, a romantic relationship, and you're with somebody, and they're not pouring into you.
Yeah.
They're not pouring into you. You're doing all the work, and and you're not inspiring them, motivating. Then you say, okay, this is not for me. You need to move on. Mm-hmm. So if you think about that way, then there's no such thing really. If you move into that space. However, Brittany was saying, well, Mom, you can, I've been married 30 years. I'm divorced. It's easy for you to say because you've been there, done that. You had 2 kids. So now it's okay for you to talk like that.
Yeah.
Compared
to someone who hasn't been through it, I feel like, especially nowadays, there's so many women coming out saying how they never really had the traditional upbringing for romance in their lives. Like, there's many women, they feel like they're very behind in life because they haven't had long-term relationships, and they're like 28, they're 26, and society tells you have to get the man or the kids or the baby's marriage like by the time you are in your 30s. So a lot of these women are saying like, well, I haven't had these romantic situations, and when other people come and kind of tell their experiences, and a lot of them feel silent in the way, because it sounds like when people be like, oh well, it's gonna happen, just love yourself, just love yourself until it happens. Like, you're not without self-love. Like, we're in a generation now where being courted as a woman is a lot less. It's harder. It's like okay, and getting everything you want as a woman is harder because if I focus solely on my career, I have no a relationship experience,
Right,
no
right,
romantic
right.
experience. If I focus solely on my romantic pursuits, by the time it's time to actually like focus on, my career, I have his kids, I have a husband, I don't have time. So it's like women constantly have to go through this thing where they have to compromise their identity.
Yeah, it's hard to have it all. That's
It's hard to have it
why,
all.
and I think so many different viewpoints, but I think like the closer you get, the farther you get from reaching the goal, the more you're like, okay, now you're considering the whole topic of settling because you want to reach. You might have a goal. So if your goal is career is what matters to me, then maybe you'll settle on the other things, so that you can reach the career part faster.
Yeah.
Or and like in my case, if I want marriage and children, the closer I get to the age of the further away I get from not having a husband and not being on track with kids, the more I'm like, okay, you almost feel defeated. So can I settle for certain things so I can reach that goal quicker?
Yeah.
So it's hard because I don't really, I was my mom that I don't know if I see settling as like a bad thing. And that's controversial. Don't cancel me. But I understand it as, I think you have to make a choice. And I don't know if I'm just like kind of defeated, feeling really defeated. That's why I'm thinking that way. But I feel like you have to make a choice to get what you want.
Yeah, but I feel like there's a difference between compromise and settling.
Okay, she was trying to tell me what definition was. I'm like,
right.
Let
me tell you what my definition of settling,
okay.
I'm 58, so I wrote it down. It says settling is when you are betraying yourself and ignoring what you are feeling. You are being someone else because you think that's what you need. Because you think that's what you need to be in order to get what you want. In other words, you are pretending to be somebody else, but the person that you don't know that. You're pretending to be somebody else because you know what you need from that person. But deep inside, you're feeling differently.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
So your definition of settling is very, it's very personal.
Right.
You think that you're betraying yourself.
Yourself. Right. Because let's say I'm 32 and I need to get married and I need to have kids, right? And there's no prospect in sight. So what I'm going to do, I'm like, okay, I see this guy. Okay, he's nice, he's kind, he's all right. So now I really know I don't like him. But I'm going to try. I'm going to see if I can move forward with him, knowing I don't really like him. But I know at the end I want kids.
Yeah, he's going to give you
what I want,
the
but
kids, the house.
Yeah, but he doesn't know my feelings.
Yeah,
but I do. Do you see?
In a way, you're settling because you're not giving everything you want.
Exactly, I'm settling.
You're compromising stability for genuine connection.
Right?
And that's settling.
Authenticity.
Yeah.
Exactly. So in my mind, that's what settling is. You're betraying. It's almost it's a lie.
Yeah, it is a lie.
Wow.
It is a lie, and it's why like people go into these relationships and they're wondering why
they have an agenda, right? Exactly.
Because you don't really like your person, you don't respect them.
Exactly.
And if you really respected your partner, infidelity wouldn't be like a question.
But here's the kicker: your partner doesn't know your brain.
Yeah,
he doesn't know what your actually intentions are. They think because you have an agenda. This is what you want.
They think they have a real connection with you.
Yeah, they think they have a connection.
You don't feel the same.
So because you're doing this, because that's what at the end, that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah. And like,
you see what I'm saying?
You see like how in regards to like, okay, like compromising to me, just, a lot of people, if you like listen back to Urban Kids, like compromise.
What is that? I love that.
To compromise for what? Like, right? Like
when she's saying that if you truly have that connection, you love each other, there's no need to compromise. But I think she meant that, or compromise to settle herself, not like okay, who's going to dinner?
Exactly.
What kind of meat do you want?
So I feel like what she truly meant was, you want me to compromise, so you want me to settle.
My true self. My true self.
Yeah, exactly. So you want me to settle, change who I am to appease someone who wanted me in their life. I don't need them. But it's like the same thing with if I'm going into my career, my field, I'm working hard to get to say a doctor, a degree. There are certain things I have to compromise to achieve that. It's not that I'm settling I have to compromise in order to get a better future.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
like I have to compromise time. I have to compromise.
But you're not betraying yourself.
Yeah, but I'm not betraying myself because it's a form of discipline to get me further in my life, in my career.
That's interesting because, like, I think from what I'm hearing is that, like, compromising is just being fair.
Yeah.
Like, just being a fair human, fair and honest.
Exactly.
And realistic. And settling is more, I think, from what your definition is, it's faking it till you making it.
Right.
Faking it till you make
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Which is, that's, like, mind-blowing. I'm
It's,
glad I heard the definition.
it's almost a misrepresentation. of
Yeah.
it, You know.
I think my definition of settling before, now that I understand yours, but my initial definition was not internal, but more external. So it was settling to me was, okay, I'm picking this man. He may not have everything on my list, but he has 3 out of the 5 things. I'm going to settle for that because I don't think I can get 5 out of 5. So I'm going to take 3 out of 5. So I saw it as an external thing versus me portraying myself and faking it
Because
to
in order
go
to get
with
what,
relationship.
right, to get what
You know,
you need
I was
at
like,
the end.
I'll accept 3 out of 5. You know, as long as, like, my top thing is if you're honest, you're emotionally supportive, and calm and patient. So if you're those 3 things, and maybe
That's good enough for you.
the other 2 things on my list was like, I'm
Love.
like obsessed with you,
Yeah.
and then maybe you know in a different. I'm obsessed with you, or we connect spiritually, physically, whatever. If it's there enough, and I have the other 3 things, that to me that's settling. But I didn't think of it as a negative thing because I'm getting a future versus getting the right now.
Yeah.
But it is, I do see my mom's point of view because I am kind of betraying myself by not going in there with all the right intentions.
Exactly.
You don't think that's more so a compromise though? Because it'll be different. Because if you were dealing with a partner, okay, well, he has the career, you know, he has a good family, comes from a good family, but he's emotionally abusive. But I can deal with that because he has all these things. I feel like that's more so unsettling. To have, like, because no one's perfect. You know, no one's gonna have everything. Like, if you're gonna choose a partner, they're not gonna have everything off of the list. So it's more so a compromise. Like, he may not be the greatest communicator right now, but he makes the that, and he's very considerate.
He's willing to work on it.
He's willing to work on it. So that's more of a compromise. I feel like it's not more so a settling. And I feel like women, I feel like sometimes we forget that men are human and they're not.
Right.
Build a man, like, he has to be perfect. He has to have everything checked off the list. You know, men do need grace as well. They weren't put on this earth to achieve all our needs, so we have to take them as they come. And things can be worked on. Communication can be worked on. You know what I mean? Bad habits can be worked on, depending on how you want to build a relationship, how you want to build that foundation.
Okay.
Of the relationship.
But as long as, like I said, you're not betraying your core self.
Yes, of course. Yes. Then you're settling. If you have to betray your boundaries, your needs, your wants, your desires,
Just to get what you want.
just for the sake of being with them, like,
That is
that's settling.
Right.
But compromising,
Compromising is understanding that no one's perfect,
Right.
and you have to work.
Right.
You have to be fair and work within a certain range so that you can be with another human for a long term.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, part of, like, you know, to add on to that, I was talking to my friends about if you to add more to settling, if you're with a partner and, like you said, you're not pouring into your soul and you're doing all the work, you know, and you still stay because you're still getting, at the end of the day, you're still getting that child, you're still getting the security, but yet you're not being inspired, you're not being
they'll
fed.
inspire you.
That you're betraying.
Yeah, you're settling.
You said
You're settling for the sake of saying you have somebody.
right, have somebody or
Then
have
you're
children,
not happy.
and hence 30 years later you're divorced.
So like 20 to 29, I was like, oh, people in that age range, I was being very like broad. People in that age range, you know, they're just looking to have fun and get to know themselves. And then 30 to 39, okay, now you're serious. Now you're taking this thing seriously. You know, career, love, all of that. This is more serious matter. And you're a little more stressed for time.
Right.
And then in your 40s, you're married and you're like, no, I'm going to stay married.
Yeah.
And then by the 50s, you're like, people are starting to realize their mistakes possibly. Maybe a lot more divorces are going to happen now because they're like,
Yeah.
none of that worked out. So it's kind of like a restart. Well, also midlife crisis type scenario. So
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
exactly. Because Michelle Obama, she actually did this podcast recently, and she was talking about how there's just so much nuance in marriage that people don't really talk about. Like she was saying how like there was 10 years in her marriage she did not like her husband.
who said that?
Michelle Obama. There was 10 years she did not like her husband, but she loved him for 30 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people fail to realize, like, when you have kids, it's different when you're in a relationship. Like, when you have kids, the foundation of the relationship changes.
Right.
You truly see the type of partner you have once you have kids.
Right.
Because you're really seeing how they communicate, how they put their needs first before the children, before your needs, before being there for you. And now you're stressed because now you're counting, okay, well, why are you at the gym? How do you have time to go to the gym, get drinks with friends, go on vacations, but I'm constantly with the kids? How do you have time to do all these things?
Yeah.
So that's where the resentment towards your partner.
That's where the 10-year I hate you comes
the 10
from.
year I hate you because
I loved you for 30. Now this 10-year span is not gonna have anything to do with you.
I don't fuck with you. Like you literally are. You're like you were like, oh,
Right.
he's selfish. Like he doesn't
Yeah.
like he's selfish. Puts needs first. And when you have kids, you really see the type of person your partner is.
So this is why when you're dating out here, you need to be clear. And it's going back to that episode about who you are. You need to know who you are, what you want. If your partner kind of overall shares your vision, how do you see kids? How do you see raising kids?
Yeah.
How do you see sharing things with each other? Because you need to know all that. So when you do get married, nothing surprises you, you know? Or sometimes women do that. They see all that red flags.
We're big stressed for time, and they're like, "Listen, I'm 35, so I see it, but I'm gonna get the end goal.
Exactly.
Next year I'll be married. You guys gonna have kids, so I'll deal with it when it comes."
Because at the end of the day, they want to meet that end goal.
Yeah.
So here you go, betraying who you are. You see it,
Right. What are red flags? What are flags?
Exactly. What
I can't see. I'm blind.
Exactly. So I hope people are listening to this conversation. At least they will come in knowing that this is the way to move in that space. If that person that you're with right now, conversation, watch them, observe them. If they inspire you, you know, say, Chloe, oh my God, you could do this. You're a cheerleader, you can do this. I have faith in you. They're pouring into you, and you're pouring into. If you're getting a back and forth, if I'm pouring into you, and I see the best for you, and you're inspiring me, I'm inspiring you. That's your, how do you say, your baseline. For that settling. If you see any of those that's not happening, there's no need to settle. You just move forward. You know, like I just read the book by Faith Lattimore. Sis Don't Settle. I mean, she just got married a couple years ago. At 40, just got pregnant. At 40. Okay? Now, if she was listening to the people, oh my God, you're 35 and nobody wants you because you're not desirable anymore. You're over the hill. You know, she would say she was set up no. Said, no, I'm not set. I'm not doing that.
The right person will
I don't even like the word settling anymore. I don't even like that word anymore. Thinking more about it. No. If you move into the space that if I'm pouring into you, if I see you, I see your soul, I see you. Okay? Then there's no need to even, don't even compromise. Because if you and I are not doing it for each other, then you need to keep stepping. You know?
That's a great book. Sis Don't Settle by, her name was Faith Jenkins.
Faith Jenkins Lattimore.
Now that she's married.
Right.
But
great book.
I think it's hard. Life is a balancing game, right? It's a balance, and that's why that whole reel was interesting, because it's like everything's contradicting. It's a balancing game, and you really have to just like stay level-headed through all of it. Because like in her case, she stayed level-headed. She's like, I understand that I'm getting out of that age range, and I'm still dating. I'm still going from guy to guy. I'm still not at the end goal, but I'm just going to have faith in me and not the pressures around me, so that I can get what I want at the time that it's going to come. But that's really hard for other, most women. I mean, she's actually one of the examples where she focused on her career. So she did put her energy somewhere. It just wasn't in the marriage.
Her book, at the same time, she was doing both. Because she was always waiting for her husband. So, okay, I got my career. I'm doing well. Where's my husband?
Right.
So it didn't happen. But you and I listened to Rumi, that the older man, not Rumi. He's a motivational speaker. He talks about life is a risk. Okay, if you do not get what you want or try to go for what you want, you're taking a risk. If you sit there and you don't do nothing, you're taking a risk. Everything you do is a risk. So you might as well take a risk to get what you want authentically, and this is not betraying yourself.
I love that.
Everything is a risk.
Yeah.
So risk doing it your way.
Yeah.
You might as well do it. Hopefully you'll get it.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
And either
True.
way, you're
It's
taking a
true.
risk.
Yeah.
So
I'm
why
learning
not
that.
risk towards what you want?
Yeah.
Take that chance. Go forward towards what you want.
Yeah.
And like rejection is redirection. Like it may not work. It may
I
not.
love that.
Oh, we're pulling out all the cliches here.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
You know,
I love that though.
Yeah.
Like even though if it doesn't work out with
Yeah.
this person,
Yeah.
if you're learning the lessons that you need to learn, so that we can be a better partner for the next. Like
Exactly.
there's this question I seen, and I always ask people this: like if you could get everything you want, right? Like if you get everything you want right now, do you think you will be ready for it? Everything that you would have
That's
ever
a
wanted,
good
do
one.
you think you will be ready to accept?
Okay,
all your
Chloe. What would be the answer for that?
For me,
Yes.
honestly, I feel like I have more growing to do.
Wow.
I honestly feel like if I were to have everything I want in regards to career, in regards to family, in regards to everything, I feel like I have a lot more
Wow.
to learn about life and learn about myself before I can accept it and appreciate it.
Wow. So you think you would lose it because you weren't ready?
Yeah,
to
because,
obtain it?
because I'm not ready.
Okay.
To mature, need more living life. Need to like be in
That's
life
good.
more, like learn more about myself. I feel like, especially because I'm in my 20s, I don't know. I'm just now learning about myself outside of being a student. I feel like your whole life you're really focused on being a student, being a career person. You don't really consider who am I? Do I like myself? Do I like the way I communicate? Do I like the way I agree? Do I like the way I comfort people? Am I a good friend? Would I even be a good partner? Do you think all these things, but are you even these things for, are you even these things that you want? Like I never put any criterias on people I want in my life if I don't make those criteria.
Exactly. Yeah.
How do I want to have a good circle of friends if I'm not a good friend myself?
That's
How do I want to have like a good partner if I'm not a good partner to myself, a good friend to myself?
Right.
And how do I want to be in a successful career if I'm not disciplined? I'm not motivated. I don't really know what I want. How am I going to be successful with you? So before I can say I deserve these things, I want these things, and these things deserve to happen to me just because I want it, maybe I should do the inner work to see if I deserve it first.
So when when it's ready for you to have, you can maintain it and hold on
Yeah, you
to
can
it.
hold on to it. Something
Yes.
like anything worth in life takes patience. You gotta be like very patient.
'Cause if you're not ready, honey, you're going to lose
you're gonna
it.
lose it. And
You're
like
not ready.
anything, like I'm not in the business of losing all my blessings.
Okay, Brittany,
That
that's
was
good.
that was a
Now, if
a good question, like a reflection for you to say, like, okay, if you were to have everything you ever wanted right now, would you be ready for it? And it's crazy because I recently wrote in my journal, no.
Yeah.
And I'm
30,
I'm 31, so I'm like 8, 9 years older than you.
Mhm.
So it's not even an age thing.
Yeah.
It's not even an age thing.
It's not.
It's how far have you gone with yourself?
Yeah.
wow.
Because some people can be aligned with themselves and know that they're comfortable and stuff and be at a, like, I've grown a lot, and they could be 24, they could be 28, they could be
And
older,
be in a different place and be
and
ready.
they could be
Yeah.
like, no, I finally feel like I'm ready for all my things to happen to me now, And I think that, unfortunately, but also fortunately, because I'm learning, but I do feel like I wasted a lot of my time in my 20s to gain all that insight, and I'm kind of doing it now. I wasn't taking risks. I was very fearful.
Mhm.
I thought about the end goal more than the now.
Mhm.
So I wanted to marriage, kids,
Right.
kids,
You want
get
the-
that.
see,
I
the-
wanted
you
to
want the
work
end
on
goal.
that and get that, and then have everything else surrounding supporting
Be
it.
ready for it.
Versus really looking inside and saying am I even ready for that?
Yeah.
Am I even ready to be a wife and a mother? Am I ready? Am I really ready? Or am I going to take down is mine being unready
Yeah.
gonna affect my future, my kids, my husband, and not being able to appreciate them and give them what they need because I am not ready internally, and
Well,
like
that's why I came with this topic, because I know I'm divorced now. And I know I got married at 22. I had no business being anybody's wife. Wasn't ready.
Living and learning.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So this is why I'm thinking, like you said, be ready, be prepared.
Yeah.
So when you do get it, you appreciate it, you maintain it, and you hold on to it because you know.
Yeah.
So if you focus on that, then you get the mindset to roll like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a burden on love when you come into the connection unfulfilled and incomplete in your own personhood. Because relationships, what people don't realize, you cease to exist. Like, you lose your personhood. So, and I feel like we're so caught up and we're so ready to give up the life that we're living right now just to bring more individuals in it. We're so unsatisfied with just ourselves. We're willing to give up our personhood. Yeah. Like after you have kids, after you get married, you forget like who you are. Like, people don't really emphasize or take the time to like, who am I now outside of my role as a husband, a father, a wife, or, like who am I? So I feel like it's so important to like not lose that sense of self. Like I even seen this video. This one was like, how am I going to teach my daughter how to be a woman when I forgot how to be a woman myself? And that shook me. It's like, she's like, I only know how to be a mom. I only know how to be a wife. I don't know how to be a woman. Because I never took the time to learn because it was only emphasized the importance to be these roles and not myself. Wow. And not get to know myself and who I am.
Again, society's conditioning you. This is why we have to redefine settlement. Settling. Redefine that. So I come to terms, I think, trying to uncondition myself when society telling me that you should have this person, you should be this. All of these are illusions. Society put these on you. So once you take control and you maintain, and that's the hard part, is to stay in who you are. And that sometimes you tend to, because pressure.
But I think it actually works within each other. Like, if you stay true to who you are, you will reach those goals.
Right.
You will reach them.
Right.
But if you don't,
if
you don't do the self-inquiry, if you don't make sure you know who you are, then it's gonna take you either longer to reach those goals, or when you reach them, you are gonna be settling to reach them.
Right.
Yeah. Because
and at the end of the day, you're gonna
be unhappy.
Yeah. So and the voice of
no, really. You really have to like move through life authentically as possible.
Yeah.
Because the
that's how you get
universe
and not lying to
yourself when you're coming in like inauthentic. They know. Like, there's been so many times I thought that I was healed, but it was really an ego thing. And I really and then like when I finally was healed, I was like,
they just hit home.
Right.
I'm telling you, sometimes I thought I was healed.
Yeah.
And then when I go out in this dating streets, I was like, oh no, I need more time.
Oh girl, ego.
Ego.
Straight ego. Making me feel like giving me a false facade of confidence.
Yes.
When it was really just ego. It wasn't really being healed in authentic way. Yeah. So now I feel like now I've gained to a place where I can forgive myself and I'm coming to a place where I can really authentically say like, okay, the things that have bothered me, they no longer hold place in my heart and my spirit and my mental. They no longer run free there. So now it's like, wow, this is what peace feels like. This really is what peace feels like. You just move differently. You're lighter. You're less anxious. Like, it's a different feeling.
Yeah, hence once you get into that space,
yeah, exactly.
See, there's no need.
Yeah.
Life
is a learning process. I feel like your connection with yourself will ebb and flow. Like you're gonna feel like really aligned for some periods of time, and then maybe there'll be a period of time where you don't feel so aligned. Like it's not gonna be a consistent thing.
No, but But you know when you're lying, or when you're going the detour, when you and then you say, okay, bring yourself back.
reminding yourself to be authentic is the key.
And you know when you're not. You
Yes.
know when you're not. You know when you're lying.
Your intuition, your gut will tell
tells
you this isn't right.
This isn't right.
And if you ignore it, then you are settling, and you might get to your goal, but you're gonna settle for your goal because you weren't authentic to yourself.
Exactly.
You know, like I wanted to bring it up too, like with settling. I mean, I know me and you have to. I'll be open with my experience that like I wanted a safe, emotionally supportive, long-term relationship so much that I wasn't listening to my full gut. If I wasn't even ready for it, you know, or if I wanted that to happen, and what do you do when you're not 100%? I guess you just don't do it. When you're not 100% about someone,
right?
Yeah,
you don't do it.
You don't do it.
That's hard. Yeah,
That's hard.
You see the goal is like right there in your hand.
Yeah.
You see it's right there.
And that takes courage.
It takes a lot.
That takes courage and bravery to not, you have to let that person go, knowing that this is a good man.
Yeah.
Say, oh my God,
that's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
The hardest part, I think, right now is letting go of good men. Letting go of a good partner that you know in your mind will be a good partner, but in your soul is my partner for you.
Yeah.
And having to be authentic with yourself to say, am I going to choose my soul and not go with a partner for the good partner, good man? I mean, I would be lucky to meet that person, but for some reason my soul isn't set with theirs, and now I have to go on to the next and just hope I find another good one that does connect.
But it's very selfless. Like for you to go into that and have that mentality, it shows that like it's very selfless, because it's not that this person isn't the right person for you. You're just not the right person for them.
Right.
You know, like
right
we never think about that.
Right.
Like I'm not the right person for you. Like because we always think like
about ourselves.
Yeah, about ourselves. But when you come in like selflessly, like I'm not the right person for you, and for me to just like be with you because of what you can do for me.
Right.
You're depriving that person of a genuine, authentic relationship where someone's going to genuinely
appreciate them. Right. Wow. But see, I want to clarify also. I don't want people to take that we don't appreciate good men. If it's a good dude, if it's a good dude, why you're not with it?
Yeah.
Being a good man it takes more. Maybe you're not aligned. Maybe you have different views on family, raising children, religion.
Yeah.
So just because you're a good man, it's more. There's more to it than this. That I can't be with you. Yeah. I don't want the audience listening to say that. Oh my God, this is a good man. You don't want them. No.
It's not a fact that like good guys finish last. It's just sometimes some people are just not in alignment. Right. The same thing, like there's plenty of good women. For some reason, the men don't want them.
Right.
And because they're just not in alignment. And that it doesn't take away that someone's going to appreciate your good heart.
Right.
Exactly. Like, you know, what you have to offer. It doesn't take away the quality of your good heart. It's just simply not in alignment. And it takes very selfless people to realize that and let them go so you don't cause more harm and waste their time and yours. Yeah,
we don't want to talk because we can talk forever.
We gotta do part two.
Part two.
Then we gotta do part two.
So before I end, did we answer the question? To settle or not to settle?
Never settle. Never.
Hey, before I came to this podcast, I mean, before I came on, I was gonna say I'm a pro settle, and now that I have the conversation, I'm like, oh damn. Now I know what settling means. Now I know.
Right.
Now I know what it means to be authentic to yourself. So to not settle.
To not settle. Okay, so just to close this up, so I just wanted to say, if you flow and you're authentic to yourself and you're true to your feelings and who you are and what you know yourself, there's no need to settle. Yeah. There's no such thing as that.
Yeah.
All right?
Be authentic. Be authentic and be brave.
Conditioning. It's an illusion. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
I hope
we're on YouTube.
We have YouTube.
Don't forget to have the podcast. I'm Brittany, by the way. Did I say? I'm Suzy's daughter. I'm here again for episode 2. But I'm sure maybe you already know my voice from before.
Spotify. So now you can listen. You can see us on YouTube and also listen to us on Spotify. This is Growing Pains, a generational conversation. Love you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.